Welcome everyone to the Recorder Candidate Forum. We're here today with JohnWinfrey, a candidate for the Virginia House of Delegates 24th District. He is running as an independent. He is running against Republican Ben Klein, who is running for his 9th term as a delegate. Mr. Klein could not make it to today's forum. We're continuing with Mr. Winfrey. Mr. Winfrey, please make an opening statement.
Okay. Hi, I'm John Winfrey. I am running against Ben Klein and Ed Gillespie, basically because they are against something I hold dear, and that is the expansion, the Medicaid expansion. Now, the Medicaid expansion covers 400,000 Virginia families, working families. This is a bill, a program that helps them out. And this is true in every state. And 32 states do this program, and we've decided in our infinite wisdom we don't want it in Virginia. Now that's 400,000 working families, and they are guaranteed health care in the period while they're still looking for jobs, trying to improve their families' education and all that. So it's a kind of a stimulus package for them in their job search. We're losing millions of dollars every day by not joining this program, which many red states as well as blue states are into. It's just ridiculous, really. It's despicable that they have made this choice for us, and that I'm talking about Ben Klein and Ed Gillespie. And that's why I'm in this race. I'm not a politician. Really, who I am is I'm a teacher. I'm an academic. I grew up in a small town, Clinton, North Carolina. I love small towns. And I played football, basketball, tennis. In our school, if you could walk, you were on a team. And that was all there was to it. And we had pretty good success even then. Then I went to Davidson College and got a degree in economics from Davidson. Played a little basketball there. But I was also on the swimming team. Actually, the first time I came to Lexington, I was on the Davidson swimming team. It's a beautiful little town, Lexington. I love Lexington. Many years later, I came as a professor. I had been in the Army for 3 years. I worked in industry at Haynes Corporation in Winston-Salem for 3 years. And then I got my degree at Duke and came to Lexington to teach at Washington and Lee. I teach social programs. They are dear to my heart. I think we as a community of Americans do these social programs to help each other. And Ben Klein and Ed Gillespie, they want to do away with all of these social programs. Now, I'm really in this for one social program, and that's the expansion of Medicaid. But they're against all of the social programs. They want to wipe out all of our social programs, and they claim that this will save us a lot of tax money, and we can give tax cuts, and somehow those tax cuts are going to help businesses outside the state to come and give us jobs. Now, they know nothing about economics. Every economist will tell you that when a firm is deciding to go to a certain place, a certain state, and set up shop, they would never go if the education system was weak and if the health care was weak and all of the social programs. They all want social programs because they're going to move their families there. They're going to bring some jobs, yes, but they want everybody who has these jobs to have social programs. I don't understand people who like to cut out social programs. But both Ben Klein and Ed Gillespie think if we can just cut out these social programs, we can save some tax dollars and entice these firms to come here. No firm's coming here to a place that doesn't have the social programs. That's about all I want to say right now, but you're going to give me some extra questions to ask about.
Yes, sir. The first question I have for you, what do you believe are the top 3 problems facing the people of the 24th District? And what would you do to solve those problems?
I think all of us want jobs. We want jobs of various sorts, and I would very much get some help from Dabney Lancaster and all the community colleges. There are places in our state that have these technology zones, and we have them over in Buena Vista, and we have them in various places. The best one that I have run into is around the Virginia Tech area. You've got Virginia Tech, and talk about technology. They are into all sorts of technology, to include healthcare, to include farming, and all the industries that are around here. And they have a community college as well, which teaches these courses. Now we'll talk about the different kinds of courses that you might take a little later, because that's a tough one. But in this technology zone, you have to have a bank that is going to help you, small businesses and entrepreneurs, get started. We want startups is what we want. We want jobs for everybody. And to get these startups, you have to have a place where they want to go, where they see they can get some help. They've got startup benefits, they've got small banks that are going to give them loans, and they've got a community college that is going to give you the kind of jobs that you need, the new kind of jobs. Now let me say a little more about the one in Blacksburg and Virginia Tech that's been unbelievably successful. And that's what we want to copy here. We want to copy and get the same thing going around in here. I'm very much of a believer in these startup kinds of technology education things. Out of the 7 new industries that are starting up in that area, it's a model for the rest of us. 2 of them are from Germany. And these German firms says, we were looking for a place to start up some of our operations in the United States, to expand our businesses over there. And they said, we looked at that area, and the kinds of skills that we wanted our students to have, our new employees to have, were the kinds of things they were teaching in the community colleges. So the community colleges have to use some imagination. What are the kinds of jobs? And certainly healthcare and looking after elderly people, that's a booming industry. I'm part of it since I'm retired. That's a booming industry. And the farming interest in this area, you talked about the solar power in various kinds of things. Making some great progress here. We just want to keep it going is what we want to do. What else was the thing? Oh, when I went to Davidson class reunion way back, the president came out on the stage and she says, Davidson is training people for jobs. Are we training people for jobs? Yes, we're training people for jobs. And then she says, well, what jobs? And she says, these people who are freshmen in our college, we tell you, we have no idea what kind of jobs we're training you for. Those jobs are being invented every day, and there'll be a whole new set of jobs when you get educated and get ready for them. And so for our community college exercises here, we just got to get the basics. We got to get asking questions, solving problems, making up plans, and just being flexible. You've got to have the kind of skills, flexible skills, that people can use to do the new kind of jobs that are coming. And half the time we don't know what's coming down the pipe 4 or 5 years from now, but we've got to have these broad skills, job skills, investigative skills, flexibility. That's what we've got to do. That's what we want to train our students at Dabney and other. I taught at Washington and Lee, and I tried to teach people how to do jobs. Barbara taught at Dabney, and she taught at the high school. Barbara's idea of education, again, this is my childhood sweetheart that I married 60 years ago. Anyway, she taught her seniors, for her seniors, she taught business, how to run an office basically. She taught them how to run an office in the morning, and then in the afternoon they had jobs, she had them basically, jobs lined up for these students, seniors, to be interns at a business. And of course there was a feedback effect in that. She taught them how to interview, how to run the office, and so on. Worked beautifully. Now, after a few years of her doing this, I would say she must have had 20 or 30 students that were in businesses in Lexington running the show, really. I mean, at one point she said, well, I could shut down Lexington just like that. If all my students just said, we're going to stop for a while. But that was the point. She was very influential, and these students kept those jobs for years and years and years. And some of them now, this is way back, some of them now are retiring after 30 years of having that same job with that same company and going up the ladder. And that's the kind of jobs we want for people around here. We want jobs where they have the skills to run businesses and are there forever, and they get promoted after a while. Well, that's all I have to say about that particular approach. But I think using the community colleges and teaching the students how to get jobs, how to work on those jobs. And there are other things around here where we could do about, say, farms. The technology of Virginia Tech, of course, has a lot of farming technology. We need to get the technology to the people, and we can have people doing night courses. They don't have to be just the young students. They can be coming back for refresher courses in the new farming techniques, things like that. And we also have to look at infrastructure. Infrastructure jobs are important. And when it comes to farming, let's say, what is the infrastructure? It has to do with transportation of farm products. It has to do with hauling of equipment and farm and produce and all that. And so that's the nature of the farming, of the infrastructure that you need, especially in a farming community. I've covered that one for a while. Okay, anything else?
Thank you. That's quite a bit. And,
okay.
My next question, Bath County does have agriculture, but tourism is our primary industry.
Right.
What are your thoughts on protecting the natural beauty and environment of Bath County and the rest of the district? What can be done?
Now that's a good question. Do you have any answers yourself? What are you thinking about as far as what are local people around here? What are their ideas about protecting the environment? I'm, of course, one of those tree hugger kind of guys, and so I'm in favor of it, but I'm not sure what methods we can use.
We have a lot of people concerned with construction of the Dominion pipeline through the county.
Oh, yes.
And would you oppose construction of a project like that through Bath County, or would you support that?
Well, I always say it's got to be done the right way. Now, the talking I've done to individuals around here, a lot of them are just totally against pipelines, and they don't see why the governor doesn't figure that one out. I guess at best, I would go with the one pipeline that doesn't cut through every stream. One of them just cuts through every stream. It'd just be impossible to make that safe. When I say to people, well, it's got to be safe, they say, well, this pipeline that they've got going through every stream, it's impossible to ever make that safe. And I've seen enough people have told me that, and I respect their judgment, and I believe that's got to be the case. That pipeline has got to go, period. Now the other one I think we want to take another look at, because it doesn't cut through. It's a lot safer for the environment. Now I know I'm sure there's some people that don't like that one either. So we would have to listen to them and see what their objections are. But there is at least one route that does deserve a little more attention and a little bargaining, and see if they can work that out. It certainly is. We have had some accidents in using tankers, so we've got to do some trade-offs there. These tankers have, I know at first, now they're getting better than they were, but at first you had tankers running into little towns and exploding every other month. Now I haven't heard much about that, so maybe they've corrected some of that. But again, it's the only the one. I think we need to discuss that one route that looks a little more possible. But the one route is, we've just got to do away with that. I don't know how we're going to get that done. What body here can just say we're not going to do that, period. But I think from what I hear, there's one of these. The one that goes through all the little streams, we've got to get rid of that somehow. And I would certainly campaign against that.
This is my final question. Do Virginia's laws against governmental corruption need strengthening?
Well, again, I'm an independent, but I must say the Democrats have got it right on that one. There is so much corruption. I'm running against Ben Klein and Ed Gillespie, but in my spare time, I run against Bob Goodlatte, and he is just despicable. He doesn't think he's corrupt, and of course he's just thoroughly corrupt. And so he's tried to do away with those laws, and I think that's just outrageous. We've got to come down hard on corruption. There's a lot of it, and we don't want it. That's it.
Okay, how about a closing statement then? What haven't you told us already?
I just go back to who I am. I'm only in this race. I'm not a politician. I'm a teacher. And I'm only in this. I don't have any political ambitions whatsoever. I'm an academic. I'm a teacher. I spend my time criticizing politicians. And to be colloquial about it, now I is one. And it's a big surprise to me, and it's not my natural element. But I just have these, most economists are like me, really. And we try to maximize our efficiency. We believe in the market doing that, but now and then the market needs some help. We need a regulated model, a regulated market. And so most of the economists I know are for the efficiency of the market, but we know it has to be helped along, because there's some things the market just does not do well. Now Ben Klein Ed Gillespie, they hadn't figured this one out yet. They haven't figured out what kind of regulations we need and what kind of social programs we need to help our community along. And so they're against all of, it's not just the Medicaid expansion that they're against all social programs. And I take offense to that, and that's why I'm in this race. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for visiting the Recorder website. Good night, everybody.